Hey everyone, you're watching The Esperanza 243. This is the Westing game, part 7. Looking forward to this video, for two particular reasons. One, I'm glad I'm finally doing this. And two, because this part is about the actual game part of the book. So I believe in part 6, we actually got to read chapter 6. Interesting. We got to learn part of the will that Sam W. Westing wrote, and in Westing's will, he decided to be patriotic and tried to entice people to reply, and actually expected them to, because that's how he wrote his will. Like, sit down, Grace Windsor Wexler, and sit down, Your Honor, and read this letter, blah, 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 blah. I honestly think those parts are funny, especially when Sandy blurted out ashes because of one of the sentences was not finished. Sam Westing actually did that on purpose, I believe. I don't know why, though. I wish I knew. I never did figure that part out. And then I finished the video off in part 6 with the first paragraph of chapter 7, where the heirs walk into the game room, and that's where we are. Chapter 7, The Westing Game. 8 card tables, each with 2 chairs, were arranged in the center of the game room. Sports equipment lined the walls: hunting rifles, ping-pong paddles, billiard cues, a full rack, Turtle noticed, bows and arrows, darts, bats, rackets, all looked like possible murder weapons to the jittery heirs who were waiting to be told where to sit. Theo wandered over to the chess table to admire the finely carved pieces. Someone had moved a white pawn. Okay, he'll play along. Theo defended the opening with a black knight. I should try that next time. On hearing Plum's throat-clearing signal, Sidel Pulaski switched the painted crutch to her left armpit and flipped to a fresh page in her notebook. Shh! 7th. And now, dear friends, relatives, and enemies, the Westing game begins. The rules are simple. Number of players, 16, divided into 8 pairs. Each pair will receive $10,000. Each pair will receive 1 set of clues. Forfeits: if any player drops out, the partner must leave the game. The pair must return the money. Absent pairs forfeit the $10,000. Their clues will be held until the next session. Players will be given 2 days' notice of the next session. Each pair may then give one answer. Object of the game: to win. Did you hear that, Crow? Otis Amber said excitedly. $10,000. Now aren't you glad I made you come, huh? Shh! That was Turtle. The object of the game was to win, and she wanted to win. 8th. The heirs will now be paired. When called, go to the assigned table. Your name and position will be read as signed on the receipt. It will be up to the other players to discover who you really are. Interesting how he said that. Table 1, Madame Sun-Lin Ho, cook. Jake Wexler, standing or sitting when not lying down. Oh my gosh, Grace Wexler did not understand her husband's joke about position. Mr. Ho did, but he was in no mood for humor. $10,000 was at stake. Both pleaded for their absent spouses. Emergency operation. My wife doesn't even speak English. To no avail. Table 1 remained empty and moneyless. 2. Turtle Wexler, witch. Flora Baumbach, dressmaker. Sighs of relief greeted the naming of Turtle's partner, but Flora Baumbach seemed pleased to be paired with the kicking witch. At least her face was still puckered in that elfin grin. Turtle had hoped for one of the high school seniors, especially Doug Ho. Table 3, Christos Theodorakis, birdwatcher. D. Denton Deer, intern, St. Joseph's Hospital, Department of Plastic Surgery. Theo protested. He and his brother should be paired together. Chris was his responsibility. Mrs. Wexler protested. Dr. D should be paired with his bride-to-be. D. Denton Deer protested, but silently. If this had been arranged for free medical advice, they, whoever they are, were mistaken. He was a busy man. He was a doctor, not a nursemaid. But Chris was delighted to be part of the outside world. He would tell the intern about the person who limped into the Westing house. Maybe that was the murderer. Unless his partner was the murderer. This was really exciting, even better than television. 4. Alexander McSouthers, doorman. J.J. Ford, Judge Appellate Division of the State Supreme Court. Alexander? The heirs watched the jaunty doorman pull out a chair for the judge. It had never occurred to them that Sandy was a nickname for Alexander. But that couldn't be what Sam Westing meant by, it will be up to the players to discover who you really are. Or could it? The judge did not return the chip-toothed smile. Doorman, he calls himself, and the others had signed simple things too. Cook, dressmaker. The podiatrist had even made fun of his position. She must seem as pompous as that intern putting on airs with that title. Well, she had worked hard to get where she was. Why shouldn't she be proud of it? She was no token. Her record was faultless. Watch it, Josie Joe. Westing's getting to you already, and the game has barely begun. 5. Grace Windsor Wexler, heiress. James Shin Ho, restaurateur. Grace Windsor Wexler ignored the snickers. If she was not the heiress now, she would be soon, what with her clues, Angela's clues, Turtle's clues, Denton's clues, and the clues of Mr. Ho's obedient son. $5,000 lost. Oh well, or who needs Jake anyway? She'd win on her own. You'll be happy to know that Mr. Westing was really my Uncle Sam, she whispered to her partner. So what? Thought Mr. Ho. $5,000 lost. He should have told his wife about this meeting, dragged her along. Sam Westing, the louse, had cheated him again. Whoever killed him deserves a medal. Again. 6. Bertha Erica Crow, Good Salvation Soup Kitchen. Otis Amber, deliverer. The delivery boy danced a merry jig. But Crow, her sore foot squeezed back into her tight shoe, headed for table 6 with a grim face. Why were they watching her? Did they think she killed Wendy? Could the guilty know her guilt? Repent! Crow limps, Chris Theodorakis noted. 7. Theo Theodorakis, brother. Doug Ho, first in all state high school mile run. They slapped hands, and Doug jogged to table 7. Theo moved more slowly. Passing the chessboard, he saw that White had made a second move. He countered with a black pawn. Maybe he should not have written brother, but like it or not, that was his position in life. Chris was smiling at him in pure sweetness, which made Theo feel even guiltier about his resentment. I guess that makes us partners, Miss Pulaski, Angela said. Pardon me, did you say something? Really, Sidel? 8. Sidel Pulaski, Secretary to the President. Angela Wexler, none. And that's None. Angela stepped tentatively behind the secretary, not knowing whether to ignore her disability or to take her arm. At least her crippled partner could not be the murderer, but it was embarrassing being paired with such a... No, she shouldn't feel that way. It was her mother who was upset. She could feel the indignant anger without having to look at Grace. Her perfect daughter was paired with a freak. What good luck, the hobbling Sidel Pulaski thought. Now she would really be noticed with such a pretty young thing for a partner. They might even invite her to the wedding. She'd paint a crutch white with little pink nosegays. Denton Deer was troubled. What in the world did Angela mean by none? N-U-N. Once again, Edgar Jennings Plum cleared his throat. Nasal drip, Denton Deer whispered, confiding the latest diagnosis to his partner. Chris giggled. What's the crippled kid so happy about? The intern wondered. Did he really just call Chris a cripple? Ninth. Money! Each pair in attendance will now receive a check for the sum of $10,000. The check cannot be cashed without the signatures of both partners. Spend it wisely or go for broke. May God thy gold refine. A piercing shriek suddenly reminded the Westing heirs of murder. While passing out the checks, the lawyer had stepped on Crow's sore foot. Ouch. Is this legal, Judge? Sandy asked. It is not only legal, Mr. McSouthers, Judge Ford replied, signing her name to the check and handing it to the doorman. It is a shrewd way to keep everyone playing the game. What's with her attitude? 10th. Each pair in attendance will now receive an envelope containing a set of clues. No two sets of clues are alike. It is not what you have, it's what you don't have that counts. Placing the last of the envelopes on table 8, the young lawyer smiled at Angela. Sidel Pulaski smiled back. This makes no sense, Denton Deer complained. 4 clues typed on cut squares of Westing super-strength paper towels lay on the table before him. Arms and elbows at odds, with fingers fanned, Chris tried to rearrange the words in some grammatical, if not logical, order. Hey, watch it! The intern shouted, as one clue wafted to the floor. I'm actually going to stop there. This is exciting. This is exciting. The next videos will be parts 8 and 9, and that will be next week. I hope to see you guys soon. This is the Esperance 243, signing out.